Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hold on, guys. I got a whole new streaming setup. Give me a moment. Oh, we got comments coming through. Okay. Let me have a look here. It should be showing chat, but it is not. There we go. All right, chat's coming through. Let me, where am I? Hold on, give me a sec, guys. Sorry. Sorry. um. Okay, is that coming through? Audio coming through? Hopefully. Now I've got to make sure that Instagram's coming through fine. Hello. All right, let me know if the audio and everything's going through okay and you can see everything fine. Because I can do stuff like this now. Boom. Cosmic Butler. How you doing? Bone Brew, what's going on? Tomoki, how you doing? An E-Blend streamer. Alright, oh jeez. Is this a new setup? Yeah, so it's a new program I'm testing out. I'm just trying to up my game, because also this allows me to have my mates pop in. Hopefully, I actually haven't tested that, if I'm honest. So we'll see how that goes. We might give that a shot next week. YouTube is going through. Fantastic. Awesome. Okay. Because we've also got different scenes isn't like a new thing. But here, if this is going to work, I've got a new little sculpting setup so we can... all system audio should not be there. We should keep that the same. So then we can go back and forth between doing different stuff. So yeah, we shall see how it all goes. Also, sorry, give me a sec, guys. Just getting it all sorted. What am I trying to do? Let's get this camera positioned correctly. Now my poor little laptop is chugging right now because we've got everything like connected to it. So if everything goes to shit, this is why we're trying new stuff out. Okay. Hi Anna, how you doing? Sarashi, welcome. See, then we can go boom. Nice, excited. Tomoki, love it. Aha, and this is the cool thing here as well. You might be able to see in chat, I can see Instagram comments when they come through as well. So I don't have to have both things up at the same time. So Surashi's comment should come through next here. Have a nice stream. Beautiful. Love it. Okay. We've upgraded. So this is exciting for me. Not very exciting for you, but it's cool because it opens up possibilities and blah, 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 blah. So let's spin the wheel of what's happening on Pinterest. Let's get it started. Let's get some art going. What are we thinking? Nice. Nah, I didn't program this. I thought about it. I really did think about doing this, but it's I just ended up paying for a system. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it works. It seems to be at the moment. Civco, watching this in black and white mode is also helpful. Interesting. Alright, I'm just trying to get something. Something for us to start. If I'm completely honest, I don't have any plan for that. But no, I never really do for these Monday onesies. You just come hang out, see what we feel like doing. I'm just waiting for something to grab me. Waiting for something to grab me. Also, bloody Instagram has no idea about what's going on. Because I forgot to put the thingo here. Let me just do that quickly. Alright, now you got some context of what I'm actually looking at. Hopefully. Draw Robin Hood. Maybe. Ivan, what format are you drawing on? Hi from Serbia. I was on your course. Ah, beautiful, Ivan. What format am I drawing on? You talking about software? Or the size of the canvas? Size of the canvas, I think, is like 3,000 or 4,000 by 4,000. Just to give me some resolution as I bounce around. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh, come on. It's come soon. Something is going to pop up and it's going to grab me and hold the phone. Excuse me. Nice one, Tomoki. Nah, let's see what other boards we've got. We've got sculpture. Do we go back to expression? Something? Maybe. More ideas. Thank you, Lulu. Something. Give me some good ideas, please. Yeah, canvas size, yeah, so I think it's about 4,000 by 4,000. So I've got to get my headspace into drawing mode because I've been in tech mode and getting the stream set up for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. Let's have a look here. I'm looking for like a nice, if I was going to like paint, or if I was going to paint, I'd be looking for a nice balance between sort of light and shadow. Nothing's grabbing me right now. That's why I don't know what's going on. Come on, let's give it one more spin, and we gotta do it within a minute. All right, minute to go. Let's find something. Ooh. I wouldn't mind like any. They're all like. I don't know. Nothing's jumping out to me just yet. We just need to start. That's half the battle. We just need to start. Just need to grab something and get some pen or stylus to paper. This is where you can get stuck and you can just never get anything done because you're just scrolling. Bloody Pinterest. Come on, I think we got like 20 seconds left, so something better show up within 20 seconds. 15. Come on. Something. All right, okay, fine. Let's go, shall we? Head direction, looking this way. All right. Oh, we got some serious lag. Why is this? What have we got open? Let's quit some stuff. No, we need Safari to be open. Not a fan of this lag, but we'll deal with it. I wonder if I change. Maybe it could be a combination of the screen size within Photoshop. Maybe that's messing me up. Nah, look at that. That's ridiculous. Let's get rid of this. Don't save. Nah, it's not. That's not the issue. I just made a smaller canvas. Alright, we've got to deal with a bit of lag, but that's okay. Maybe it helps us take our time. You know? Think. Oh, this sucks. Okay. Could be the encoding of the stream that's just pushing it. Nah. I don't know. Alright. Eyes. Nose. Can I actually? I don't know. Alright, so the main reason I've changed the streaming software is, I want to get some people in order to talk to my mates while I'm on stream as well. Just for the funsies, you know. Smoothing's at 0, man. Yeah, just to spice it up a little bit, you know. Keep it interesting, but we've got to fix this. Because I know a while ago it was the issue. It was actually Pinterest. I think last time was the issue. Like something about having the browser open was not working very well. Civcal, how would I sell an asymmetrical face? I would. Yeah, let's use these features while we've got them. How would you sell an asymmetrical face in this perspective? I would start to do a lot of measurement. Depends what's asymmetrical, right? Because most things are asymmetrical, or most faces are asymmetrical. So I would get my base down. Yeah, it does really depend on what it is that's going to be asymmetrical. But I would ground it in some sort of symmetry to begin with, so then you know that you're actually coming through and adding the asymmetries exactly where you want to. There's always going to be some sort of stability, unless it's like a completely random object. There's always going to be a way to add. Oh, my allergies all of a sudden. As soon as the stream came on, maybe it's all the bloody Wi-Fi that's pumping out of this place. But yeah, there's always going to be something, especially with faces. There's going to be a skull, you know, sketchy squirrel. What's going on? There's always going to be something that you can sort of hang on to, right? I might, you know what? Try something. I'm gonna whack open PureRef. Drag this into PureRef. Open PureRef, hurry up. And then I'm going to close. No. Drag this here. Drag this here. Hello. Drag this here. Copy the image. Mother. Copy image. Thank you. Close that. What else can I close? I wonder. Activity monitor. I need that. Can probably close that. Let's close Spotify for now. Quit system settings and Safari. I think, has that helped at all? No, not at all. Okay, well. I'll figure it out. Oh, it's not, I think it got a slight little bit better, I reckon. Okay, now with, particularly with the eyes as well, I'm always trying to find this, like, this gap. Like, where the inner eye and the nose is, because you could very easily just like sort of squish the eyes too close together. Again, it could be a stylistic thing. You know, actually, I wonder if this is going to work here. This is what I'm talking about. So this gap here between the nose and the middle of the eye, it gives you room for that sort of eye socket, and sometimes the eye crease in there as well. So there's like a little bit of gap between there. Look at that. We've got multimedia. We're swapping back and forth. Real life. 2D, 3D. Yeti, what's going on, dude? I hope you've been well. This is a new teaching method, that's what I'm saying. Because sometimes it's hard to get my ideas across. But now I can just be like, bam. Right, so the eyes. Looking off this way. So do we want to try and get a bit of a likeness maybe? I don't know. Potentially. Oh, also, for those that have Filthy, I've been prototyping a way to actually get keyboard shortcuts working with swapping between fill, delete, and off. It's a bit of a hacky, weird way to do it, but it works ish. I'm going to do a little bit more research on it. But that's very exciting for me, at least, because that's one of the biggest things I wanted in it. But Photoshop didn't easily expose a way to do the keyboard shortcuts. Now I'm kind of going back and forth trying to like figure out the balance between either side of the head, because we've got the center line here, right? Oh, Photoshop. You scumbag. Okay, come on. Right, so we've got this center line, or this apparent center line that we've got. Oh, this lag, I tell you. Gotta figure it out, what it is. Alright, center line down here. All the way through that head. I'm going back and forth between both of them. Or both sides to really see where the balance is. Sometimes I just got to get rid of the whole thing, which happens very often. Find that inner part of the eye. I'm really doing a conscious effort in my head drawings to put the ear further back. Because this is an issue of mine. Further back in the head. Because here is kind of where you want it to be sitting. Typically, I always put it like half an ear too close. You know, you've got like the profile, nose. Right, always, particularly in 3/4, end up putting it way too close. Because you can kind of get away with it. Right, but it's sort of like as a conscious decision, I want to make sure that the ear is being placed nicely. Now also with the hair, let's see if we can block in the hair just a little bit. I think I've done it again. Put the ear way too far forward. Lazy, what's going on, dude? Chris, how are ya? This is a really fine line with the eyes, where the direction can look so off just by millimeters. This is just a sketch at the moment. I'm struggling with lag in Photoshop, if I'm honest. So I'm just trying to get something that's half decent on the page here. I might. Can I? Kentas, what's going on? If I'm just trying to close everything so then I can get some form of smooth drawing experience. Alright, I've clicked out of Instagram. I wonder if it's still streaming. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm not even sure I've got... Nah, it's not a cache issue. Might have to restart. Yeah, but I'm gonna restart the whole stream and blah 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 blah. I blame Apple. It's always Apple's fault. No, it's only when I start streaming. And it is a new streaming platform. Like, it is a new streaming software that I'm using. So it could be an issue with that. As well. But we'll just keep hammering. See how we go. Really not liking this face because I've got my hands tied with this fucking lag. Yeah, I got activity monitor. Yeah, it's Ecamm. And notes of all things. Quit notes. No, this is network actually. Sorry, memory. Yeah, Photoshop 5, 4, caster. Yeah, but it's like I've got 64 gigs. And I'm only using 37. Maybe Blender sculpting will work without the lag. I think that would be the complete opposite. I think that would be lag city. No, it's not the RAM. It's something. Yeah, I can't. CPU. Only using 17%. 59% idle. Yeah, it's a weird one. Yeah, it might be for... Let's try Critter. You know what? Critter. Do I even have it anymore? Yeah, I got Critter. Let's see. Whoa, this is some old stuff. Alright. New. Yeah, let's just go 3000. That works. Alright, let me squiggle. And see if it's any better. Not too much better, honestly, and I can't see my cursor, which is weird. Yeah, see, that's kind of choppy. Really not sure. Is it a cap on how much RAM the app is allowed to use? Potentially, Lulu. Let's have a look. Preferences. Welcome to Ben's technical support stream, where it's going to be scratch discs. No. Performance. Let Photoshop use everything. Go. All right. Give it all you got. Nah, it's still shit. All right, well, look, you know what? We got to work with what we got. And we will just take it. I mean, that's even worse. Now that I gave it all the RAM. How's that even possible? Maybe I have to quit Photoshop. And then reopen. Oh, yeah. What a pain in the ass. Your scratch disk is getting full. Yeah, the scratch disk shouldn't matter. Terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. Look, we'll work with it. It is what it is. My apologies. And now, guess what? I don't have any pen pressure. Alright, now I've got pen pressure back. Okay, now it's a drawing challenge. It's a drawing challenge. Let's try and make something look decent with terrible hardware. That makes sense. Alright. Flip it. It's like a new medium. There we go. We're learning a new medium. And it's just terrible computer. That's what it is. Okay, let's see here. Alright, slowly trying to find those eyes. The eye placement. Now this is where you can get kind of stuck with the the mouth, right? Really want to make sure we're looking at both sides, like we were talking about before, with the center line, right? Imagine that center line coming down. And this is curving up and down there. And that bottom lip might even be hiding that top lip. Oosa. Yeah, nice one, Tamoki. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with understanding where that eye socket is. So we've got that slight little squint there. I just want to draw normally. Hey. Calm. We're going to have to do some testing this week, that's for sure. Thanks, man. It's not even a skill issue. It's not even a skill issue. It's like I just can't. I do the thing and I draw it and I do the line and then it's like now I do the line. Do you have a rule of thumb for coloring the sclera? Is it like a brighter, more saturated skin tone or something? Coloring the sclera. It's not white, that's for sure. Or that's like the first thing I think of. Do not do this as a white. the white of the eyes, because they're never, ever, 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 should never say never, rarely white. But they are typically a very bright or light local value. So what we learnt about with sort of specular reflection, just reflections in general, they're going to reflect the environment that they are in. So here she's got sort of more in like a blue environment, blue sky, I'm assuming. I'm just going to throw it, like, I'm not entirely sure. So then I would almost... But yeah, it's all to do with the light source, because I guess this is a warmer light that's hitting here, so I would keep everything warm. But oftentimes I do like to cool the sclera down just a little bit. But it's all, again, it's very dependent on that environment and the light sources. No worries, man. I just can't even. Alright, trying to follow the map of those shadows here. We could put a hint of like a nice... that nice little car shadow. From the bridge of the nose onto the other side of the head. Alright, so it's same here. A little bit of that car shadow coming onto the neck there. Which is going to help us sort of ground her in some sort of reality. Because what I'm imagining here is that light source. If we were to replace the head with a sphere, this is kind of what I'm imagining. Alright, so we can keep that in mind as we move around the face. So we got the lashes. Now this is where you can get a little bit tripped up, and I do oftentimes. Because they're going to wrap around, like this whole thing is wrapping around everything. Right? The whole face and all of it. So those lashes are probably going to end up back here. On the other side of that. Like the corner, like this corner of the eye is probably going to end up back here behind that eye. Somewhere, so we've got to take that into account. Samuel, how you doing? Great to have you. Zane Art, thank you very much. We are working with subpart. Basically, I've got a lot of lag with Photoshop at the moment. For those that are just rolling in here. So I'm just taking it slow, trying to learn the new medium of terrible lag. And we'll get there. Also, on some good news, got all the molds completed for Plain Jane 2.0, which I might run out and show you in a minute after we get a decent way through. This little portrait here. Which has been, it's been an effort, I tell you what, it's been a roller coaster. Had to redo a bunch of them. Learned a lot, still learning a lot through the process. I really want to do like a full YouTube breakdown of all the failures, really. It's just going to be a whole video of failures to get to the final product. It's like swinging a baseball bat with a donut. Love it. Yep. Exactly right. Except for the donut sometimes just like flings off accidentally, and then you got to go run and pick it up and then keep swinging, and then the donut changes its weight, and sometimes the donut's not even on. That's all right. I'm streaming at 30. One thing that I am thinking of in the back of my mind that could be the issue, I'm streaming at 1440 whatever instead of just 1080, which could be an issue, but honestly it shouldn't. I should be able to well, lose me. I should be able to stream at that. So the internet is not the issue. The stream seems like it's coming through clearly. It's just how it's affecting the hardware is the issue. What are you using? This is Photoshop. And the donut, that is a part of the frustration as well. And the donut charges you a subscription fee. And it's a brand new donut as well. So, oh, I'll be chatting with support after stream, that's for sure. No worries, Sophia. Okay. So we're getting somewhere. We see with the eyes, we've got some sort of something happening. I am still thinking about that skull underneath, how that actually looks and feels, imagining the eyes sitting within. The thing you got to take into account as well with the more stylized stuff, the eyes might not be perfect spheres all the time, particularly with stylized stuff. Realism, yes, more or less, right? But sometimes you've got eyes that the curve that you actually see would not make sense if it was a perfect sphere. It would be too bulbous. So there's like they could, if they were actual spheres, they'd be quite large. So the curvature would be a lot more subtle. So particularly with the stylized stuff, there's a lot of cheating going on. To get the look that you're after, or that I'm after. Sometimes, not all the time. So she's got earrings. We can just indicate them there. That's fine. Guarav, how you doing? Design Wave. Great to have you. See, there is pros and cons to this new streaming software, because I can see all the comments from everywhere all in one place, which is nice. All right, are we Are we still live on YouTube? Because I think Instagram is done. Let me know, YouTube. Yep, okay. So it was just Instagram that cut out. Weird, Instagram's only got like a 1 hour time limit. YouTube is up. Legends. Thanks, guys. And that hasn't helped the latency at all. So, okay, so it's nothing to do with the actual output of the stream. I'm trying to also indicate the hair rather than be super explicit with every single strand. Do you have any tips for painting or shading curly hair? With simple shapes is the type of hair I struggle with the most. So I would try and get the silhouette of the curliness first, and a lot of the heavy lifting that can happen is on the edges or in the silhouette, right? That's going to be doing a lot of your heavy lifting, I think. And that's true for a lot of texture as well, depending on, like, regardless of what you're drawing, you could be drawing a bush, right? Or like a bush with a bunch of leaves. having the leaves poke out just a little bit here and there, right? See, this is just a big squiggle of massive dark value, right? But because we've got a little bit of that sort of silhouette, you know, that can help out a lot. See if we can change the eye style. Really like whack that back in the socket. Probably too much actually. No worries. She's also looking upwards. We don't have to do it to the exact reference, but if she's looking up this way, right? Let's say she's looking over here. We can use that little ellipse trick to get that eye direction feeling correct. Need to carve out some time to draw a bunch of down tilted faces. So hard, yeah. Down tilted faces. No, I don't. So I have no idea what's just happening. It's completely taken control. Okay. There we go. Down tilted faces. The nose and the chin and the brows are going to be your best. Sort of indicator. These three arcs. And the ears being upwards. Or like in relation to the head. Right? If we were thinking about this as like 2D sort of plane. Here the ears are going to be up because of the head tilt. Brow, nose, chin. That's going to give you that sort of illusion of that head facing down. And then there's like varying degrees of intensity with that. So yeah, take a look at that brow, nose, and chin. Make sure it's got that sort of arc downwards or upwards. You know what I'm saying? Which will hopefully help out. Vitor. Sorry if this has been asked too many times, but what is your mental process on stylization? So how do you decide what to make bigger, smaller, or just different in relation to the reference? Yeah, it's a big question because it depends. It really depends on what I'm doing, what style I'm going for, how much stylization. What even is stylization, really? Sometimes I don't know how to quite describe it, because I mean, it's cartoon stylization, it's caricature stylization, a combination of the two, animation, that sort of Disney Pixar sort of vibe. So if you are studying stylization, whatever it means to you, right? Whatever that word means to you, I would have up a lot of reference. Yeah, very philosophical, right? Yeah. Let's not get philosophical. Let's see if I can answer your question. I'd get up a bunch of style reference of styles of people that you admire, right? And understand it's going to be iteration, a lot of iteration, and testing things out, because all of this stylization, right, this is all taste, and this is all a combination of my, not like a particular, I don't particularly like this drawing in particular, right? But when I'm doing stylization, it's a combination of the artists that I've looked up to, both consciously and subconsciously, the shapes that I tend to skew more towards, and it's the way that those other artists have solved different problems. Like, how did they solve the problem of the ear? Right, what does that look like? It's all little problems. Like, how do they solve the general face shape problem? The whole gesture problem. It's just a different way of solving a problem, as opposed to realism, right? So it's a big old iterative process that I would recommend always having some sort of style reference open when you're trying to stylize. That's what did help me quite a lot. Because like, even from this, like what we first started with, I didn't like it. So I was like, all right, let's redo it. Now it's getting somewhere closer to something, but I'm still not super jazzed about it. Right, so now I'm testing this out. I'm trying to not use the reference 100%. And there's all like a spectrum of how much of the reference that you would use depending on the project and blah, blah, blah. But if I'm not trying to use the reference too much, because that's where you get into that weird, I think that's where I was earlier on, in that weird middle ground of yeah, like that no man's land of the using too much of the reference. You've got a little bit of realism versus what you tried to stylize and it isn't quite gelling super nicely. So yeah, iterate, know that it's part of the process. Get frustrated, get annoyed, take a breath, start again. It's all part of the process. Yeah, I can't even remember your question in the first place. I went off on a tangent there, but hopefully that helped and that sort of made sense. Are you teaching art somewhere? Yeah. In the links in the description. I'll be coming out with some new courses soon. I have taught at various places as well. Both online and physically. So see, now we're getting a little bit more nuanced with the shapes that we're choosing versus what we were choosing before, right? I kind of like the portraits I make, but want to do a step forward. Yeah. And just know that if you're using digital, or even if you're not, it's like, yeah, make really, really crappy versions of it. Like, you have to give yourself permission to make really crappy stuff that you really hate, because you wouldn't know otherwise if you didn't try that crappy version out. Maybe there's a little bit of a gem in some of that crappy iteration, you know? It's easier said than done, but if you can get past that fear of like, oh, okay, cool, I've been able to make something look half decent and I can do it repeatedly. What now? Am I just going to like start not making stuff look okay? Yes, that's what you should do. Definitely. Got to grow by failing. That's right. You'll know this though. I'm not saying anything new. See, things are just feeling a little bit more solid now. Just a little bit more rounded. And I'm slowly getting the hang of this real a laggy bloody Photoshop. But it's not a Photoshop issue. I don't know what the issue is. But it's just, I don't know. It's just things we're sculpting it into place. So this, we've got the center line here coming up to the middle of the mouth. Coming back through, whacking that around, right? So we're trying to figure out that center line, and that's going to be the center line of the chin, nose, forehead. Right. We could do a cheeky little overlay of multiply. To add in some of these shadows as well. So we can like take the light from the reference and use it on the shapes that we've created here. Thank you, Scooper. How you going, man? Just took a huge nap, ready to do some drawing though. Beautiful. Regenerated, I hope. Naps are such a gamble for me. Because I either feel absolutely amazing after it, or I feel like, what year am I in? And it's so disorientating when I wake up. Not as sleepy for sure. Beautiful. To me, it's like if you take a nap, you need to give yourself the time for the possibility that you just conk out for 4 to 6 hours. Oh man, I can't afford that. It's scary. Sometimes I just need one though, right? So I set the timer for half hour, 45 minutes. But it's a gamble. Have you done like a super nap where, so you've got to get like, my sleeping schedule has to be bang on, and I've got to be like really dialed in of how quick I can go to sleep, but I will down a coffee quickly and then have a nap for half an hour, 45 minutes. So by the time that you wake up, the coffee and the caffeine is just about to kick in. And man, if that's not a little superpower for a very short amount of time, woo, but you could also just be laying there, not being able to get to sleep or take the nap, you know. But even if you just lie there and just like zone out, so then by the time that half an hour comes around, it gets you No Copy messaged me up. Tyler, what's going on? Great to have you. Thank you very much for the kind words. No Coffee messaged me up for when I sleep. I get bad anxiety if I'm trying to... Okay, fair. Yeah. I am quite sensitive to coffee as well. Okay, we're getting somewhere. For me, it's like have a giant bowl of pasta and try and watch a movie. Yeah, get those carbs in right before you're trying to get to sleep. I like strategically will eat more carb heavy foods later on in the evening to get me into that that little food coma. That beautiful little food coma. What do I cook usually, just in general? I'm very strict with my diet typically. I'm a chicken breast and veggies, turkey mince and veggies, Greek yogurt and protein powder, and some frozen berries kind of guy. And I will just repeat that over and over again. But from the carb standpoint, I'll have like sweet potato. Are you guys more morning people or night people? Depends on if I'm living my best life. If I'm living my best life, I'm up at 5:30 a.m. I'm getting the day started, and everything's great. That's kind of where I'm at the moment. I'm going to try and keep it like this for as long as possible. Not quite 5:30, but I'm getting there. But if I happen to slip into a little bit of a night owl situation, then it's I'm gonna be up until 3 a.m. doing work. But it's never great work though. That's the thing I've found. I always think I'm being productive when I stay up late. I'm like, yeah, doing the thing. Getting stuff done. But am I? Oftentimes not. Oftentimes it's like a half-assed, weird kind of thing. So because that's the thing. I'm trying to get up. I'm trying to figure it, because I work from home, right? I'm trying to figure out ways so I'm not interrupted during the day. Or during work time, whatever that is. And you can do that one of two ways. You can stay up really late where no one's awake and there's no one around. So you can just focus and lock in. Or you can do the opposite way. You get up super early. That I prefer. I'm naturally a night owl for sure. Yeah. I feel like I've flip-flopped. I used to be. Like crazy. I'm a morning person. I usually wake up around 6 a.m. to do early running. Oh, nice one. I always feel the creative impulse when it's dark and the city is quietest. That's cool. Mind you, yeah, it also depends on what kind of work as well. That's the thing. If I do slip into the night owl sleeping pattern, it is because I had a couple of nights where inspiration struck and I just went through the night and I forgot that it was 3 a.m. Ooh. Pros and cons with both, really. Yeah, 100%. Also, I'm not sure, like, particularly because I try and go to the gym one day on, one day off, one day on, one day off, and just keep rotating that. But like doing weights early in the morning, like at 5:30, it's not for me. So I'll kind of either push it back a couple of hours, maybe to like 7 or 8. Just doesn't feel right. All right, we're getting real subtle with some of these value changes, and this is the reason why I wanted to play around with this different scene. Hold on. My apologies. You have the same ringtone. Okay. So, and of course it's frozen, so you can't see it just yet. There we go. All right. So, what I'm talking about here, how subtle value changes can be, right? With the only reason that you can see any of this form is because of value changes, right? So even here on the top of the head, if I just put a tiny little mark. Also, I haven't got the right lighting in here. Probably here on the side of the head is going to be easier. The only reason you can see that mark is because light is kicking off of that edge of that indent there. Right, so every little nick and groove and everything is going to create a plane change. So every time that there's like a surface change, those planes are going to change. So if we take this understanding here and put it back to this lady, when she starts looking flat, or if things aren't quite looking right when it comes to the value changes, start thinking about that. Start thinking about it as clay that you can press into, you can touch and feel. And then getting really subtle with these value changes. Because even here, this is all flat. This is all the one of the same value. You could keep it like that from like a stylistic standpoint, yeah? But in reality, all of these, especially on these edges here, everything's always going to be a slightly different value depending on that light source and that light direction. Right, even underneath here, so subtle. Right, because these two planes are going to meet, the plane at the top of the lip and the plane at the underneath of the nose. That's going to be different. Right, maybe it's going to be slightly brighter. Try it out. See if it makes sense. Now to get to this subtlety, you got to get your big masses in first, understanding where the light source is and blah, 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 blah. But if you want it to start to look really, really like, okay, this is a thing sitting in 3D space. This is where you got to have that real subtle. Like just that, just doing that there changes so much. Right? It rounds this out like crazy versus what it was when it was just a flat thing. So then you can decide how much of that you want. I prefer being locked down to a schedule, going to a job and having a commitment to something else, and I can be a morning person or a night person. Yeah, I can see that. I do like the Stephen King idea, though, of like rain or shine, sitting down and doing some work independent of how I feel. Me too. I try and live by that. My feelings do not matter. If I've got a project and I've got a goal, do it, you know. Hand cam, yeah, kind of. Do I eat fast food? No, not really. I've been thinking about getting some ink pens lately and doing some comic book style stuff for fun. Have you ever tried that? The ink pens. Yeah. The like the brush pens. Is that what you're thinking? Or the fountain pens, or both? I like both of them. But here, if we flip back, so see how subtle that dip is in that crease there. Let's find a crease on this fella. I've also got this other guy. That's what I do need to get. Actually. No. Fuck. Did it go? Okay, it's underneath the keyboard, not on top of the keyboard. I had wired earphones on. Uno momento, por favor. Hold the phone, please. We will be back momentarily. I need one of those like some sort of interval scene where it's like technical difficulties. Okay, thank goodness I didn't go into the keys. Lucky. What was I trying to do? Yeah. Yes. Okay. The new artist in town, how you doing? Whoa. Right, this one. This one, Osmo Pocket 3. Why does all my tech stuff just not? Face cam. Pocket 3. Do the old unplug and plug back in. There we go. Plug it in. Plug it out. Plug it in. Fixes it. So, also got this fella here. Get this shit out. Also, got this little guy. So what we're trying to look at here is if it wants to, are these creases, where's a good example? Like here, those creases, oh, focus, yeah, focus. Maybe I need the bigger one. Yeah, let's like looking at the subtle creases, let's say here, where I've like mushed the clay up where the eye patch is going into the skin, right? You see, let's see, actually I built a little app. Damn. There we go. All right. Fuck it, I'm just going to move the thing to the camera. It's my first time trying this setup. Forgive me. Okay, it'll get better. So you see, you can tell that there is a dip here only because there's this super subtle value change. And if we if we do something like this, if the light source is right on top of it, you kind of lose it, right? Because you can't really see much of a value change. So it is going to be very dependent on that light source. But if the light source wraps around to the front of him, look at that. You're going to see, even if it's subtle, slight little value change as that sort of curves around, right? And the deeper the crease, so you got one sort of more here, sort of in his brow here, the more intense that's going to be, right? But you can get real subtle, real subtle with those creases. Lighter value right here, darker value, lighter value. So it sort of stair steps. And depending on how intense those stair steps are going to be, is going to be how light this value is in comparison to this value, in comparison to that value. All right? Hopefully that makes sense. This is fun when it works. Oh, shit. And then we come back. So this is why it's so important to understand where that light source is coming from. Yeah, no, everything's fine. Just spilled coffee everywhere. Yes, but not as a sketching tool like Kim Jong-gi, but like still do pencils and go over them in ink to make some art more like comic book art. Yeah. Nice one. No, that sounds good. Turn off autofocus on the hand cam. Set it manually if you can, and you won't have to fight it. Yeah, I would do that. Only issue is if I want to change. Yeah, I'm using the Pocket 3 here. I don't know if you can. It's not in frame, but it's the Osmo Pocket 3, right? And I love it. Sick little camera, right? Amazing. It is such a closed system, right? The ability that this camera has is phenomenal from like the gimbal and everything. But what you actually have access to is very limited, and you have to go through the proprietary DJI app, whatever, right? So that's why it sucks. I found out yesterday that you can do some cool stuff when it's connected in webcam mode. So you can actually, so I've done kind of like keyframes for different scenes. See if I can spin it up. So it's going to be super helpful if I want to do more of this sculpting stuff. Let's have a look. But you can't keyframe it in the actual app, which is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, why it doesn't allow that, God knows. So let's see, we go back to Osmo mode. So you should be able to see that camera feed, right? Now I can quickly, now I've got the app open, the little custom one, throw him here for something to be in frame. Then I can go zip, zoom it out, boom, zoom it in, move it, boom, boom. I can go to predefined, whoop, if it doesn't want to shoot itself. Go to predefined places that I set. You know, oh, there's Kihasuk's, Chris's thingy print there. Right, so then I can move it around exactly where I want. But yeah, lots of bugs to figure out, but I think this is going to be coming pretty handy for explaining some stuff. I think. Also, he has a ponytail that is not attached yet, and his hair isn't done. This is that sculpty stuff I was talking about. Cool stuff. I love it. But then I can come and zoom right in here. I can be like, boom. This is what I'm talking about with doing ba 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 ba. Anyway, completely off topic. What topic are we even on anyway? I love Sculpey as well. Alfie, 2 Gibsons back there. One Gibson Les Paul Studio, and an Epiphone SG. Back in high school when I was obsessed with AC/DC. How you doing, Alfie? What? Why do we have 2 cameras in here now? Hello? Okay. That's right. So keeping in mind what I was talking about with all those little value changes, we can now make proper guesstimations of where all these tiny little skin folds, these tiny little skin bumps, planes, and all that kind of stuff are going to happen. So if your stuff's ever looking more flat than you would like, think about it as if you're touching it as clay, and know that the only reason that it looks like the clay has form is because of those plane changes in relationship to that light source. Cameras, I guess. Yeah, I don't know why that was added there. Who knows? Thanks, Tomoki. Yeah, but I've just got to make sure it's smooth with the transitions between. But I still can't, like, I really don't understand why DJI just doesn't allow keyframing in the normal DJI Osmo Pocket app. Because it can do it. the physical capability is there for it to do it. They just haven't allowed it to be, I don't know, it's so stupid. I got an SG made of wood from an old church pew. No way. Epiphones. 2. I got an Epi hollow body and Les Paul Studio. Dude, look at us. Twins. Les Paul Studio. Yeah, I got that. You got to pay more for premium feature. No, I can't pay. I can't physically pay them. I can't pay them anymore for it. It just doesn't. It's not unlocked anywhere. It's the stupidest thing in the world. The capability of this camera is phenomenal, but you can't use it. You've got to do a weird hacky way around it, which is stupid. Anyway. But yeah, I got that Les Paul Studio when I first came to the States when I was like 13. Maybe I was 13? Yeah. Went over there for baseball. Oh, their cameras, I mean, they lock the premium features on more expensive. I was thinking that actually. It's like, okay, if you want all of that stuff, then you've got to go and pay for like the RS3 or the RS2. And you know what? I've been looking at Marketplace to get one because I want that functionality so bad. Scumbags. It should be like you should have full access to the hardware that you've got. It's crazy. When you came for baseball, yeah. So I played baseball as a youth, and there was like a America trip. We stayed in Anaheim, I think. And yes, that was the first time I went to the States, and then yeah, the second time was like 2 years ago or whatever. But yeah, coming home with that bad boy. Oof. Because then I was obsessed with Guns N' Roses. I was a big classic rock fan. And that's all I would do. I would just sit and learn and play guitar. And that was my instrument for a long time. Dude, you're lefty. Chris, yeah. I was a pitcher as well. Pitcher and first base. Lefty's curse. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, pitcher. I was a pitcher. Picking people off was my favorite thing. I wish cameras were like PCs. You could just build and upgrade them as you need. Need more pixels, buy a new sensor and slot it. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. What was the transition to art like? I never really made a transition to art, really. I'm not sure from what. I've been drawing and painting for most of my life, you know. Ever since I was a very little fella. I was huge into Hendrix, blew my mind when I first heard him. I would just sit for hours and try to learn everything. It's a good feeling, that. Where you're just like over and over and over and over again, just try and learn stuff. I remember hearing Thunderstruck for the first time. I was like, what the hell? How is that even possible? Now the youth has YouTube and they can just look it up. We didn't have that back then. We had tabs. The ultimateguitartabs.com. No technique tutorials or whatever. But I would sit like later on in high school, I got really big into John Butler, like the John Butler Trio, and I played Ocean. If you haven't heard Ocean, great song, long song, but great song. On like a 12 string, and that was my year 12. I don't even know what you call it, final assessment song or whatever. And I would replay the YouTube video over and over and look at his fingers and play it in slow motion. I don't even think YouTube had slow motion back then, so I had to download it and then play it back frame by frame to see where he was at with it. It was good times. Good times. You had to hunt for stuff. Oh yeah, I had a mean two-seamer at least for a high schooler. Nice one. You had some movement on that thing. That was, yeah. Oh, it was good fun, baseball. I enjoy it. I do miss it a little bit. The camaraderie. Yeah, so that's what I was like, oh, I want to be a professional baseballer. And then I was like, okay, I want to be a professional poker player. And I was like, okay. That was my two big goals in my late teens. Printing out tabs that were formatted in Microsoft Word or on some website. Yep. Yep. Craft, thank you. So for Ocean, you were doing all that tapping on the guitar body stuff. Yeah, nah, I didn't bother with that. Because there was a version called John Butler Trio Ocean Max Sessions on YouTube that I followed, and it didn't have like too much of the ding, like all that sort of stuff. Because I just wanted to. I didn't have the nails that he had, and I was just like, fuck it. I'll just do the rest of the stuff. Oh well, that's a name drop. I haven't listened to John Butler Trio in like 2 decades. Oh, nice one. So he made it out there because he's massive in Australia, right? I remember Better Than. Yep. Yep, and then you got Zebra. Like the bum bum ba-da-dum, ba-dum ba-dum, ba-dum ba-dum bum. Yeah, he was massive out here. I burned a hole in that CD. Nice, dude. You and me both. You and me both. Figuratively. Yep. Yeah, I think I got the vinyl somewhere. Yeah, so then I had that my real like hippy dippy phase in high school with John Butler and a lot of like the surf. I don't even know what you'd call it, like Xavier Rudd. I don't know if that rings a bell for anyone. I had a real surf skate, longboard sort of phase. Still have a little bit of that in me though. What do you think makes Australian music different from American music, if anything? Just wondering from your perspective. It's hard to say, depending on the type of music, right? One thing that I don't enjoy is Australian music where the Australian singer sounds American. And then when they talk in interviews, they're like, oh, yeah, no, it's good, blah, 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 blah. And then when they sing, it's like full American. It just does, I don't know, something just shits me about that. But that's a me issue. That's nothing to do with them. Hats off to them. Yeah, it's like I've talked about these guys before, like the Hilltop Hoods. Fantastic hip hop, like Australian hip hop. Like anyone my age, just, yeah, you know exactly who I'm talking about if you're Australian. They were massive out here. They're actually from Adelaide, where I'm from. But they sound Australian when they rap. You know? It's like Australian accent rapping. Which is cool. But then you got like the Australian hip hop or rap that then sounded American when they rap. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what? I don't know. Just rubbed me out the wrong way. I didn't know Sia was Australian. Exactly. Because I don't think she has an Australian. I think she sings American. Actually, I've never heard her talk anyway, so she might have been born there or something. I don't know. But our culture is very heavily embedded in American culture. Like I grew up with Eminem and yeah, D12, Blink-182, of course, like all those. Everything in America got exported over here, no, imported over here. All right, back to the drawing. Real quick before we head off, I reckon we're gonna call it a day. Yeah, doing these real minor value changes is going to help with that realism. Realism's the wrong word, with that believability with the forms turning. Best show I've ever seen was Tame Impala at Red Rocks Amphitheatre. Nice. Was Sia Adelaide girl? Yeah, right. Well, there you go. Does Sia sing Australia? Tame Impala? Tame Impala? I'm not sure. I can't think of one of this. I know of them. And really dig it. The Chats. Yes. They sing Australian. Smoko. The song Smoko. Very good. Very, very good. Jeff, the land shark enjoyer, how you doing? Did you know what they were talking about when you first heard that song? You're like, what the fuck is a smoko? I'm on smoko, so leave me alone. Ammo and the Sniffers are also a good vibe. I've heard of them. I don't think I've heard their music though. I'll have to check them out. I didn't know. If you watch that film clip as well, that's just like Australian as Australia gets. Punk band, female lead, you'll probably dig. Nice. Okay, this was a disaster in the beginning, but we got somewhere. This was also a hybrid test for the new stream setup. Working okay. Got to figure out this lag though. Have to figure out this lag. That's all right. That's my job, not your job. Nothing you have to worry about. Unless you want to come over and fix it for me. That'd be lovely. Now here, what I think we can do, which could be nice, is cutting into some of the hair here. Just a little bit. Show some of the gaps in the hair. Because it's going to be a little bit thinner on this side because it's not as dense. You got some of the curls showing through. All my Aussie lingo knowledge comes from Summer Heights High. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I watched that on YouTube the other day. Ah, one of my favorite shows. Sorry, Ben. You look good today, miss. Where did you get that from? Suzanne's? Man. The amount that we quoted that show in high school, unbelievable. I feel sorry for the teachers as well. Catch you later, Moki. You have a good one. Mate, Chris, you got some good taste. I like it. Oh, shit. I wouldn't go saying that. At least nowadays, it would be acceptable back then. Dude, you got wicked. You got great taste. That's very cool. So it made it out to the States, hey? Or are you just like an exception that has impeccable taste? You would have liked then Flight of the Conchords, yeah? Not similar, but like, I don't know, they're in the same universe genre-wise, potentially. Oh, it was on HBO. Oh, no way. That's great. Flight of the Conchords was more popular. Yeah, I feel like that hit more mainstream for sure. People tell me I sound like Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, maybe if you squint your ears a little bit. Oh, I remember. That was actually the first gift that my lady got me. Was the DVD, I think, of Flight of the Conchords. I heard about Summer Heights High from my brother. I wish I knew where he heard it from. Yeah, interesting. That's cool. That gives that gives me some pride, because there's not a lot of Australian TV that I personally enjoy. I know Flight of the Conchords is New Zealander. I'm about 6. Oh, nice one. That's great. Okay, look, I think I'm noodling a little bit at the moment, which is fine. But look, we got somewhere. This is more of a stream test. We now have sculpt mode enabled. No, that's drum mode. We now have sculpt mode enabled. Boom, there we go. Cool. All right. Good test. Thank you again for popping in. Appreciate your patience with me today. Got to figure out this lag stuff, but we'll get it going. It'll work. As always, streams happen every week, Monday, 10:45 a.m. Australian Central Standard Time, which I believe is 6:15 or 5:15 PST. Oh my god, drum mode, who is? Thank you again for popping in. For those in chat, appreciate you as always. And for those that aren't in chat, that are lurkers, that are watching this after the fact as well, appreciate you just as much. And I reckon with that, we'll call it a day, I reckon. Lots of technical difficulties, but we got there in the end. And yeah, with this new setup, it has the capacity to do to get some people on stream. So I'll get some of my mates on. We'll have a good bit of banter. Yeah, I reckon we'll call it. Thank you again. Catch you later, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now. Yeah, how do I close it on this new one? Does finish work?